Let me go to Gene Robinson. Gene, it seems to me that on the going back to the Democrat, because I think it is going to be the worldwide headline, it's certainly going to be the American headline tomorrow morning, that Barack Obama has come from where he's come from. I like that speech he just gave.
That was a goosebumps moment for me. It really was. It reminded me. People have drawn the comparison. You know, I was old enough. I was in my teens when Bobby Kennedy was running for the presidency, and there's something about Obama that has that captures some of that feeling, I think, of the Bobby Kennedy candidacy, that a more enormous outpouring of hope that he kind of inspires. You know, this was not a narrow victory tonight by Obama. I mean, his margin over Hillary Clinton, as of now, is 9 points. That's the same as Huckabee's margin over Romney. So this is pretty much a thumping that he gave to Hillary Clinton and John Edwards, and I really think this not only boosts the Obama candidacy, but in a way that I find, you know, touching and important. Right. I think does turn a page in the life of the nation.
If you compare the two speeches, Rachel, it seems to me that Barack gave a big picture speech, a heroic speech in many ways about America today. And I look at Hillary Clinton's speech, and it looked like a bunch of buttons were being pushed. The same old, you know, focus group approved buttons. Here's say the word, say the word, say the word, and you'll get the conditioned response. And it certainly doesn't work for people like me who are watching this thing for year after year after year. I just think it's manipulative, whereas his appeal is heroic. It's different. It's just different in quality than hers.
Well, the emotion is definitely there with Obama tonight. And I think I think it's worth noting, and I think, Gene, this is some of what you're getting at too, that as an American, it feels great to have a totally viable black candidate win Iowa, whether he's a Democrat or a Republican. That's the country I want to live in where that's possible. And I think that a lot of people are feeling that emotion about feeling good about the country because of that. I will say, I think actually having Joe Biden there for a second to jump off for is maybe really relevant here, because Joe Biden, Chris Dodd, Bill Richardson, and Hillary Clinton are the people who are all running on this "I'm ready, I have the experience to lead" platform. They all essentially had the same message. That's not the camp that Hillary Clinton wants to be in right now. Obama's running on saying, hey, we need someone new to lead. So I think you'll start to hear other people echoing that message.
But the thing is, you have to countenance the fact there. If Hillary Clinton had had her way, she would have authorized the Iraq War. She did have her way. She did authorize the Iraq War. How can that candidate be the change candidate? I don't get it. I think there's a factual problem for her nomination. If she's seeking the nomination of a party insistent on change, how does she play rearguard in defending her own vote to authorize the war in Iraq? Well, I don't get the argument.
That depends on whether or not the election's going to be about Iraq. And
well, the numbers here show that to a large extent it is, Rachel.
Well, it's about the economy, it's about Iraq, it's about a lot of things. But Barack Obama's whole message is not just the word change, which you're now hearing everybody use on both sides of the aisle. Barack Obama's message is we need a new cast of characters. His most effective, most resonant line in his stump speech is about how much experience Cheney and Rumsfeld had.
She's not ready to look. There's a problem here. There's a factual problem, Howard. I want to go to you on this. There's a factual problem. How can she be the candidate that calls for change if she will not change the position she took on the Iraq War? She will not change that position, which was a position of authorization of the war. I just don't see it. We're in the 7th year of this war. It's going on and on and on with no sight of ending. It is one of the paramount issues of the campaign. It's the backdrop of this campaign. And Hillary Clinton is in the position of having authorized it and refuses to change that position.
Well, Chris, what that vote did was allow Barack Obama to paint Hillary as an agent, ultimately, of the past, as an old story. I saw Bill Clinton the other day in Iowa making the speech for Hillary, and I was trying to think in my mind as I watched Bill Clinton, am I watching the end of something here? Am I watching the end of an era? I wasn't sure, but I think the results tonight tell me that it is the end of an era. I feel in Iowa, having spent a lot of time out there the last few weeks, a kind of torch-passing moment from one end of the baby boom generation to the other. Now, Gene talks about it in terms of race, which is very important. If you look at the AP lead, the AP wire lead, it says Senator Barack Obama, bidding to become the nation's first black president, captured the Iowa caucuses. So it's a historic moment. But what Barack Obama's race signifies is not his race per se, but a generational change to a generation that paradoxically doesn't look to race first. Obama's race becomes a symbol for change. It becomes a mark of change, a measure of change from one generation to another. Hillary's vote on the war put her in the past, especially with young voters. If you went to the Obama headquarters in Des Moines, and I spent a lot of time there, you saw a lot of younger people from all over the country, Democrats, young kids who wanted a new vision of America and the world. That's why they were out there voting for Obama. They organized superbly, Chris. This is a big story. These were kids who didn't know that much about Iowa, who used their brains and their shoe leather to organize the state in a way that nobody had organized it, arguably since Jimmy Carter surprised the world a generation ago. They came into that state. Not only did they know the state, they knew the caucus mechanisms. I mean, David Gregory said earlier tonight that the Obama kids, the Obama organizers, had necklaces of beads around their necks so they could count the delegates. They worked the secondary votes, you know, the realignment votes. They picked up all the loose change. This is a generational change, I'm telling you, and even if they don't win, they've made their mark tonight.
Howard, I've got to fact check you on one thing, though, and I'm a big fan of